When the car passed the stone for the second time, Chirag spoke in a worried voice. The story happened to Sahil, a 25-year-old man, during a trip to Manali with his three close friends, Chirag, Arun, and Samai. This trip was not only for fun, but also to help Samai forget the deep pain he had been carrying since his younger brother died in an accident a few months earlier. After that incident, Samai was no longer the cheerful person he used to be. He became quiet, distant, and lost in his own thoughts most of the time. Because of this, the group decided to take leave from work and planned a trip to Manali, hoping that a change of place would help him feel better. The first few days of the trip went completely normal. They visited many places, laughed together, and tried to enjoy themselves like they used to. On the third day, the group decided to drive to Rohtang Pass, a place famous for its beauty, but also known for being dangerous. Not knowing that this journey would soon become the most terrifying experience of their lives. As the group was about to leave the hotel to drive toward Rohtang Pass, the receptionist suddenly stopped them and warned that they should try to return before 6 p.m. He told them that Rohtang was not just a tourist spot, but was also known by locals as the Valley of Death. According to him, for hundreds of years. Many people who traveled on that road at night were later found dead in the valley the next morning. Authorities usually said it was because of accidents or extreme cold, but the local people believed something else lived there. They said a wandering spirit moved through the fog at night, and after sunset almost no one dared to go outside. Most houses in the area were locked early in the evening. After hearing the story, the four friends laughed and thought it was just a made-up tale to scare tourists, so they ignored the warning and continued their trip. After spending a few hours trekking at Rohtang Pass, the group decided to return because it was getting dark and the fog was becoming thicker. It was already close to 9 p.m., and the mountain road had turned completely silent. There were no cars around, and the visibility was extremely poor. Arun drove very slowly, because even a small mistake could send the car falling into the deep valley below. While everyone stared nervously at the road ahead, they suddenly saw a stone on the side of the road with the words, "Manali 28 kms" written on it. What confused Sahil was that someone was sitting on the stone in the freezing cold, wearing only a thin dhoti. No one said anything, but all of them felt that something was not right. About 20 minutes later, as the car continued through the thick fog, they saw the same stone again, with the same words, "Manali 28 kms," and it looked like someone was still sitting on it. The atmosphere inside the car suddenly became heavy and uncomfortable, saying that he had seen that stone before, and last time there was a man in white sitting on it. Sahil quickly replied that he saw it too, but the person he saw looked like a small child holding a toy. The car went silent. Arun, who was driving, said that he had not seen a man or a child, but instead he saw a black horse standing beside the road, just staring at the car as it passed. All three of them felt chills running down their spines, because they had clearly seen the same place. Yet each of them saw something completely different. When they turned to Samay and asked what he saw, he kept looking outside the window with empty eyes and repeated the same words again and again. "Someone needs help. If they call us, we should stop." No one understood why he said that, but a strange fear slowly filled the car. The car continued moving through the thick fog. But after a short while, the stone with the words "Manali 28 km" appeared for the third time. This time, no one dared to speak, because they all realized that something was terribly wrong. The surroundings were silent in a frightening way, with only the sound of the engine echoing in the dark mountains. Suddenly, Arun said in a shaking voice that no one should look outside the window, because something was running beside the car. Even after hearing that, the others could not stop themselves from glancing to the side. In the dim light, they saw a boy around 15 years old walking next to the car at an impossible speed. He was not running, just walking normally, yet he kept up with the car on the mountain road. His clothes were covered in dirt, and his face had wounds as if he had been in an accident. Samai stared at the boy without blinking, then slowly rolled down the window, as if he wanted to talk to him, even though everyone shouted at him to stop. After the boy suddenly stopped behind them, Arun pressed the accelerator and drove as fast as he could. No one in the car dared to speak. All they wanted was to leave that road as quickly as possible. After some time, they finally saw a stone that read Manali 16 km, and only then did they feel a little relief, knowing they had escaped that strange place. It was almost 2 a.m. when they reached the hotel, exhausted and terrified. They decided to sleep first and talk about everything in the morning. But at around 3:30 a.m., Sahil suddenly woke up after hearing a very soft lullaby inside the room. When he opened his eyes, he saw Samai standing in front of the mirror, swaying like a small child while singing an old lullaby. The dim light made his face look terrifying. His eyes were red, his neck had marks as if someone was choking him, and there was a twisted smile on his lips. No one dared to go near him. As they slowly moved toward the door, Samai suddenly turned and spoke in a childlike voice. "If I knock on your window tonight, will you open it for me?" After saying that, he collapsed on the floor. The next morning, when Samai woke up, he remembered nothing about the night before. But Sahil, Arun, and Chirag were sure that something evil had followed them from Rohtang Pass. Following the receptionist's advice, they took Samai to a local priest who lived nearby. The moment the priest saw him, he said that Samai had recently lost someone close, and that grief had weakened his spirit, allowing a wandering soul to take advantage and enter his body by pretending to be someone familiar. According to the priest, the roads of Rohtang were filled with restless spirits of people who had died in accidents, and sometimes those spirits tried to follow the living to return to the world. The priest began the ritual, lighting incense and chanting strange prayers. Suddenly, Samai started shaking violently, then vomited a thick black liquid that terrified everyone in the room. After the ritual was finished, Samai slowly returned to normal, as if nothing had ever happened. The trip ended, and they all went back home, trying to forget everything. But Sahil says that since that day, every night he still hears the sound of that lullaby in his dreams, as if someone is still standing outside his window, waiting for him to open it.